Nations have united and established the Earth Space Defense, ESD. By salvaging parts from fallen alien ships, they reverse-engineered alien technology to create an alert system for extraterrestrial threats. The ESD's headquarters are based at Area 51, with additional stations on the Moon, Mars, and Rhea, one of Saturn's moons. What Earthlings are unaware of is that aliens are still watching our planet, and former President Whitmore is haunted by recurring nightmares. These visions show him a strange circular figure with a line that he can't stop sketching. Meanwhile, on the moon base, Jake and Charlie are transporting parts for the base's new defense weapon. During this process, something goes awry, and the tugs can't keep the weapon steady. Commander Jong orders them to pull back, but Jake defies instructions, using his ship to stabilize the weapon. He activates the fusion drive, risking the ship's destruction, but manages to secure the weapon just in time. Despite his success, Jiang scolds him for disobeying orders and grounds him indefinitely. Back at Area 51, General Adams is summoned to the base in response to an emergency. The aliens captured 2 decades ago have been in a vegetative state until now. Suddenly they're awake, violently shaking in their cells. Adams wants to inform the ESD director, but the director is unreachable. David is in Africa with Floyd, a government-appointed official, meeting with warlord Umbutu and his rebel army. Alien bones surround Umbutu's headquarters. Although initially hostile, the tension is diffused by Catherine, who assures the warriors that David is with her. Catherine, who has been working there for some time, is studying the psychic connection Umbutu has with the aliens. She takes David to see a ship that landed on Earth during the previous invasion. Umbutu explains that the ship's lights mysteriously turned on 2 days ago. They also find a large hole in the ground, evidence of the aliens' past attempts to drill into the planet's core, which ceased when the mothership was destroyed in the First War. Inside the ship, David recognizes a signal being transmitted, a distress call that has already been answered. On the moon, Jake has a video chat with his girlfriend, Patricia, who happens to be Whitmore's daughter. She informs him that the International Legacy Squadron will soon visit the moon base, including their friend Dylan, with whom Jake had a falling out years ago. During a training exercise, Jake had almost gotten Dylan killed, and Patricia urges Jake to take responsibility. When the squadron arrives, excitement fills the air as everyone welcomes Dylan, the stepson of the First War hero Stephen. However, instead of making amends, Jake provokes Dylan, leading to a fight. Jong notices the scuffle, but Jake covers for Dylan, claiming he just tripped. Later in his room, he confesses to Charlie that he may have gone too far. The next day, in Area 51's medical bay, Dr. Isaacs visits his husband, Okun, the research director who has been in a coma since the First War. To Isaac's astonishment, Okun suddenly awakens, unaware that 2 decades have passed until he sees the changes in Isaacs. Meanwhile, Adams receives alarming news. The base on Rhea has been destroyed, and they go on red alert. David, informed of the crisis, is pulled from his research as Catherine continues to analyze the circle symbols scattered everywhere. Umbutu shows him drawings based on his visions since the ship reactivated. The circle resembles a device, and Umbutu has partially decoded the alien language. On the moon, panic ensues when a swirling shape forms in the atmosphere. It turns out to be a wormhole, from which a spherical object resembling Umbutu's visions emerges.
Sir?
A transmission is sent to President Lanford and David, who realizes this sphere is a spacecraft. Lanford suggests a preemptive strike, but David argues that this ship could be from a different alien race with unknown intentions. The ESD Council votes, and the decision to attack first prevails. Jong activates the base's weapon, and the sphere is easily shot down. Though frustrated, David plans to study the sphere, and Lanford allows a scientific team to retrieve it. However, David is summoned back to DC for political reasons, which leaves him angered. Lanford publicly announces that Earth was defended against another attack, which Whitmore watches on TV. Disturbed, Whitmore believes these aren't the same aliens and feels an urge to warn others. Patricia urges him to trust the president and Whitmore agrees to rest, but Patricia later finds his bed empty. On the moon, Jake sympathizes with David's frustration and decides to act. Disobeying orders, he steals a shuttle to Africa, picking up David, Floyd, Umbutu, and Catherine. After a turbulent ride through the remnants of the old mothership, they arrive at the sphere, where Jake and David prepare for the retrieval. On Earth, the United States is hosting a celebration to honor the anniversary of the first victorious war. During Lanford's speech, Whitmore steps in, attempting to issue a warning, but then he collapses in pain. Meanwhile, in the hospital, Okun is seen scribbling formulas on the walls when he suddenly experiences the same intense pain, with Umbutu feeling it too. People on the moon are stunned as a new alien mothership appears, descending alarmingly close to the surface. Charlie quickly takes control of the shuttle to save Jake and David, narrowly avoiding a disaster. Adams receives an alert back on Earth and cancels the celebration, while Jake takes the shuttle's controls so Charlie can grab the sphere using the robot arms. After some effort, Charlie succeeds, but as they attempt to escape, they find the mothership's gravitational pull drawing the shuttle in. Zhang sends pilots into action, activating a massive weapon, but the attack fails, forcing the pilots to retreat. The mothership retaliates, destroying the weapon, and Jiang orders an immediate evacuation just before the ship tears through a significant portion of the moon, wiping out the base. The ESD activates the orbital defense system, but the mothership destroys all satellites before they can retaliate. Shortly after, the alien ship approaches Earth, pulling Jake's shuttle with it, and the immense gravitational pull wreaks havoc across cities, lifting buildings and people into the air. David realizes the ship aims to land in the North Atlantic Ocean, prompting Jake to pull off risky maneuvers to dodge the falling debris. Lanford orders evacuations of coastal cities, but some boats don't receive the message in time. David's father, Julius, is out at sea when the ship arrives. He calls David, noting that this ship is much larger than the previous one, but the call cuts off as the mothership lands, causing Julius to be hit by another boat. Elite pilots arrive from the moon to help, but Dylan doesn't make it in time to save his mother, who heroically assists a woman and child before perishing as the hospital collapses. Whitmore and Patricia regroup with Adams at Area 51, and Okun escapes his room to join the meeting. Aliens in containment cells are behaving erratically, which Okun interprets as a form of celebration. As David and his team arrive, Whitmore sneaks into a sealed room to release an alien for communication. The alien seizes Whitmore, speaking through him and declaring, "She has arrived. She is all." Catherine presents the alien with a circle symbol, causing it to react violently. Fearing for Whitmore's life, the soldiers fire at the alien to subdue it. The bullets prove ineffective, but Umbutu intervenes with his blades, breaking through the alien's armor and killing the small creature inside. Along the coast, a group of siblings finds Julius's wrecked boat and discovers him alive but unconscious. They decide to take him along for safety. At Area 51, a scan of the mothership leads David to conclude that "she is all" refers to a massive hive queen arriving with the aliens. A reconnaissance feed reveals that the mothership is drilling into the Earth's crust, aiming for the molten core. David recalls that they defeated the aliens in the First War by destroying the mothership, meaning they now need only to kill the Queen to stop the aliens again. Lanford authorizes a mission to locate and eliminate the Queen, and all pilots prepare. Drones will lead the way to disable the shields, allowing bombers to deliver cold fusion warheads through the hull. As the pilots approach, the mothership's defenses activate, and they struggle to penetrate. After losing 2 bombers, Jake suggests flying inside the ship. Despite the risks, Adams authorizes the attempt while others provide backup. Once inside, they discover an entire ecosystem within. At this moment, Whitmore regains consciousness, warning Patricia that the Queen is aware of their approach. Patricia tries to alert Adams, but it's too late. The Queen sends out a pulse, disabling the jets, causing the pilots to release their bombs in desperation. However, the Queen's energy shield deflects the explosion. A second pulse from the alien system disables all satellites, the Area 51 base, and the President's bunker. The mothership seizes the chance to attack, resulting in Lanford's death. Soon after, military leaders at Area 51 appoint Adams as the new president. Catherine shows Umbutu Okun's drawings, which mention an intergalactic war and a warning to stop an enemy before reaching Earth. Umbutu realizes the sphere wants to ally with them, seeing the aliens as its own enemy. Inside the mothership, Jake, Dylan, and some other pilots survive and hide within the ecosystem. Back at Area 51, Okun manages to open the capsule using a special laser and attempts to scan the sphere but finds no signals. Floyd curiously touches the sphere, which momentarily absorbs his hands, activating and learning English from his mind before communicating. Simultaneously, the Queen detects a signal on her system and decides to equip a massive set of armor. The pilots can only observe as the top of the mothership abruptly detaches, preparing for a fresh assault. The sphere begins explaining that it intercepted the aliens' distress call and attempted to warn humanity, but humans attacked it without asking questions. The sphere's species has battled these invading aliens before, calling the motherships harvester ships, since they travel from planet to planet, extracting cores to use as fuel. This sphere is the sole survivor from its planet, and its system holds access to advanced technology. There is a hidden world where it teaches refugees from other conquered planets how to construct weapons to defeat the invaders, which is why the aliens fear it. Unfortunately, now that the sphere is activated, the Queen can track it. David mentions that if the Queen is already approaching, they could lure her just as she trapped them initially. Okun and David plan to hide the real sphere inside an isolation chamber and mimic its radiation signal with a decoy inside a tug loaded with cold fusion bombs, hoping the Queen will follow it into a trap. The only requirement is a method to track the Queen, and Adams reveals he still has a radar truck from the initial war. Adams and David consult with the few remaining pilots, explaining that with the satellites down, someone will need to manually fly in to detonate the bombs, a mission with no chance of survival. Patricia volunteers, but Whitmore steps in and accepts the mission, disregarding his daughter's objections. Meanwhile, Julius awakens and convinces the siblings to take him to Area 51, though they're nearly out of fuel and moving slowly. They stop by a gas station, discovering a school bus full of kids abandoned by the driver, so Julius takes over, driving toward Area 51 with the kids aboard. Inside the mothership, the pilots locate the aliens' hangar. Jake rushes forward to distract the aliens by mocking them and urinating on their floor, while his friends steal the jets. The aliens don't take kindly to Jake's taunts and start firing, but before they can hit him, the pilots take off and pick him up. Immediately, the aliens pursue them, closing doors as they try to escape, forcing the pilots to maneuver sharply to evade danger. Amidst the intense moments, Jake apologizes to Dylan for nearly killing him years ago. After several close calls, the pilots make it to the exit just before it closes. Back at the base, everyone prepares for the battle. Patricia watches her father leave despite her pleas and decides to join him in the air to offer support. Around this time, Julius and the kids arrive on the bus just as the Queen appears with her forces. As the base and the aliens exchange fire to launch a new conflict, David notices the bus and moves it to a safer sector. The sphere is placed in the isolation chamber, and the Queen is tricked, believing the signal is real. Patricia flies her jet near her father's, saying goodbye as he makes his sacrifice. David activates a shield around the alien forces to contain the blast as Whitmore enters the Queen's ship and detonates the bombs. For a moment, victory seems near, but the alien army persists, and the base's main weapon is destroyed. When the smoke settles, It's revealed that the Queen survived, shielded by her energy barrier. David boards the bus with Julius and the kids to escape as the Queen pursues them. Every soldier on the ground returns to the base to defend the sphere from the advancing aliens, while the pilots focus on attacking the Queen, whose shield remains intact. The crew on the ground realizes only 6 minutes remain, and Patricia notices that the Queen lowers her shield briefly during attacks. She uses this opportunity, hitting the weak spot, breaking the shield and leaving the Queen vulnerable. The Queen retaliates, striking Patricia's jet, but she escapes with a parachute just before it crashes. The Queen attempts to go after her, but Dylan and the others return, using the Queen's own technology to counter her. Inside the base, the aliens locate the sphere, which Okan and Isaacs are guarding, and relay its position to the Queen. Dylan and his team lose control of the jets as the Queen uses her hive link to draw all nearby technology, forming a new barrier. Umbutu and Floyd rush to the isolation room to fend off the aliens, but in the fight, an alien strikes Isaacs. As Umbutu and Floyd finish off the remaining aliens, Okan bids a tearful farewell to his husband. With only 2 minutes to go, the Queen arrives at the base and begins pounding on the roof, trying to break through to reach the sphere. Dylan refers to the jet shield as a tornado, sparking an idea in Jake's mind. They ignite the manual thrusters, creating a fire whirl that pushes them out of the hive. As the Queen finally breaks into the base and seizes the sphere, the pilots regain control of their jets and unleash a barrage on her, forcing her out of her protective armor. The Queen attempts to retreat and nearly grabs the bus, but David pulls back just as the Queen collapses and dies, releasing the sphere in the process. Much like in the First War, the Queen's death immediately halts the drill and all alien ships, which then plummet to the ground. Around the world, everyone rejoices as the mothership departs,